My name is Taylor. I'm the CMO of Valuer. Valuer basically also uses AI, but I think we have a little bit more of an engaging pitch. The idea is that we're basically connecting startups with large corporations. The whole concept is these large corporations really need to evolve in the next little bit. Valuer connects small startups that are ready to start partnering with these folks. Myself, I have 11 years of previous startup experience, 6-time co-founder. Only one of my previous startups have been mildly successful, which is actually along the lines of what I'm going to be talking about to you guys today. Tons of experience in terms of mentoring, Startup Junkie. Let's just move in. I am teaching a 2-day growth hacking course through Talent Garden. It's going to be on May 21st through the 22nd. There is a discount code that gets you an extra 15% off. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I can also send you the link. The whole concept is if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you get the slides, and there's a shitload of templates in here, so I'm really assuming you guys probably want this stuff, and you'll see why. I'm going to skip past the table of contents because we're limited on time. My goal for today is to provide value. I'm hoping that everybody here can take away at least one thing, no matter what you're looking to do or what your situation is, to be able to capitalize on either job search, connecting with people, networking, what have you. So why are you here? I'm just curious because it's a pretty diverse room. Show of hands for those that are not working and are still in school. Okay, cool. And show of hands for those that are working on their own startup, entrepreneurs. All right, a few. Nice. Okay, but I assume most everybody here is graduating within the next year, show of hands-ish? All right, nice, then I'm in the right track. Cool. Okay, so just to give everybody a feel for what I'm talking about and what I'm going to go into, the whole concept that I always talk about in marketing is it's all about systems, right? If you understand one system really well, you can apply it to all the others. So if you know how to do content to a T, you can start figuring out SEO, SEM, start creating AdWord campaigns, or start growth hacking. The whole concept is you have to apply it from a knowledge base. And hopefully that's what you've been getting out of school, but I'm going to show you stuff that they don't teach you in school. So when you're looking for a job, one of the hardest things is to decide where to start. Where to begin, what is kind of the first step? A little bit of my background, the one startup that I was relatively successful with was winning a 2012 Transition Assistance Program. It's basically the government program that when military people either are injured in combat or are given a pink slip by the government that says, thanks for your service, son, go back to the civilian life, they have to take my course. So my course went out to 188,000 veterans and their families, essentially teaching them exactly what I'm teaching you, which is how to get a job. The only difference is I had about 40 hours to do this, and I have about 35, 40 minutes. So let's see what I can get through. So you need to figure out what you want, right? So the idea is I think it's incredibly important to start looking at what is out there. The concept is for every door that you open, you end up closing millions of other doors, and that can be this kind of analysis paralysis that we all go through. Like I fucking go through that every day. So the idea is decide what industries interest you, what kind of gets you jazzed up. Maybe it's AI, great, fantastic, you have somebody you can talk to about that. Maybe it's something else. Startups are what I really get excited about because it's the underdog kind of thing, but maybe you want to be at an Ernst & Young, or maybe you want to be at a Maersk, who knows? And some people are just really into the agency type stuff. Small, medium, large, do you want to stay in Copenhagen? These are all considerations, and I think it needs to kind of be swimming around in here as you start to approach. So I'm going to take a lot of this from the concept of people might want to work in startups because that's my jam. But I think it's incredibly important to build a list. And so what I've included in my slides is basically a list where you can find multiple links of how to find all the startups within Copenhagen. So I'm going to back out of this real quick, and that's the wrong mouse. And I'm going to pull up my list right here. The idea is I basically have done all the work for you guys, which hopefully people are like, oh, cool. So bear with me. There. Internet's slow. All right, cool. So I have all the lists of basically the job boards within Denmark, mostly Copenhagen. I also have the different university job boards, because just because you don't go to a certain school doesn't mean you can't apply to the same jobs, and also Facebook groups for jobs. I think the more interesting thing, the thing that I'm focusing on, is basically finding every potential startup and then saying, that's interesting. Let me figure out how I can get in touch with these guys. So the concept is very simple. Not every job is advertised, and I'm probably going to present like this, so hopefully you guys can see it. So when I've gone about my job search, I've tried to connect with as many people as possible, and I'm going to go into how you do that. Oh, I skipped a step. No, I didn't. Cool. So the idea is connect with 3 people from every company that you find interesting. So when you go into, let's say, the hub, and you find alphabetically listed all the different companies in there, connect with 3 different types of people. C-level, founder, so that's a CEO, CTO, CMO, whoever. Then you connect with somebody below them who would potentially be your manager, because I assume most of you guys are kind of entry level. And then connect with a peer, somebody that's on your level. And I've also added templates, so you can bullshit your way through and basically not have to do any real work. The only thing is, if everybody else in this room actually uses this, they're going to get 3 requests a day from 3 different pricks that are saying the same thing. So make your own templates, but use them to your advantage. So here are the outreach. That's a cover letter. So there's different types, right? This is for startups. And I have the initial connection message, the follow-up message, and then a third follow-up after they accept your request. So that's the C-level manager and your equal. If they have no marketing department, which is a good thing, because hey, here's an opportunity. Guess what I do? Marketing. So you should be able to connect, again, with the C-level person, or use the exact same way that I kind of would have used, but there is no marketing person there. An agency, there's the intro, follow-up, and you can use some of the third follow-up, or basically after they accept. So the work's done for you, so no fucking excuse. Like, it's so easy to do this stuff. I think I come from a place of, and I'm going to get to this actually, I think this is a little too early. So my whole thing is giving value. The reason I'm here today is I believe this provides value to other people. I'm not doing this because there's no money, there's no like cash hitting my pocket at the end of this. I think it's so important to give back. And I also think that some people believe that. And those are probably the types of people you want to work with or work for. Is the one that's like, hey, you know what? I have an employee here. I'm going to show them everything I possibly can so they can learn. So if you come at them saying, hey, have you seen this fascinating article? Or I've created 5 social posts for you. I'm in love with your brand. Would you be open to having a coffee so I can create 5 more and see if I'm on target? Or along with this list, a full SEO report. Google the phrase SEO report free, put in their website, and then send them a link. They're like, this is amazing. It's like, yeah, I did a lot of work. I went to bed late for this one. It's all relative, and it's super easy, and you can do it now if you wanted to. And most people don't know that stuff's out there, which is crazy. So the concept is giving something away for free to eventually, who knows, reap the benefits. And these are some of the sites that you can also continue to find a lot of the opportunities in terms of the listing of different sites. One of my favorite ones that I think is overlooked is when somebody's in the news, right? Good news travels fast. The idea is look up these phrases. So startup investment Copenhagen. That means they got money if somebody invested in them, right? It makes relative sense. So I'm going to do a Google search, and then I'm going to click on the little, oh, boo. All right, well, my internet's down. Well, the way that it would work, and that's the only example I have, is basically see who's in the news, who's recently been announced. At any given week, there's one or two new companies that have either gotten an infusion of money, announced a new partnership with a large company. It means they're hiring. That's what you do with more money, is you build your company. These are the companies you want to apply for, not the companies that have been around forever and basically are maxed out in terms of employees. It makes sense, it's simple. I think I can jump back into my slides the regular way. Cool, so perception is everything, and I think there's a big missing piece of this. I love working with interns, and by the way, if anybody's looking for an internship prior to graduation, I still got a few spots left. But it's one of those crazy things. I always see the same mistakes made time after time. You know, make your resume readable. I love this. This is basically somebody's Tinder profile where they've done it in a really clever way, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm shooting darts, and then the next thing is he shoots the dart, and then, oh, your heart, and he's like, yeah. I love that. You know, like that's clever. That's really clever. And you can do that kind of stuff with your outreach if you're that clever as well. But building your resume is super easy. I've listed a bunch of different resume templates and sites that you can build your own. Building your own LinkedIn profile up so that it's more searchable is incredibly easy, but also a portfolio. Dude, if you do if you do design and you don't have a portfolio, why the fuck are you sending me your stuff? Like, you're sending me 20 attachments. I'm never gonna look at it. Behance is free. And also, for those that are not designers, go ahead and put your stuff in there so people will be like, hey, the guy's got a site. They must know something. It's crazy. It's a little bit of effort that actually goes a long way. So batch connecting is one way to really boost your network. And everybody can do this right now today. If I had internet access, I'd show you. But you basically go to LinkedIn, right? You hit My Network, more options, you select your email provider, and then you select all, remove your exes or people that you used to date, whatever. It shows up, it's weird. But the idea is you can essentially connect with thousands of people almost automatically so that you're building your network immediately. And the idea is the first post that you put out, because you're a new connection, almost entirely will be accessed by these people that are in your network. So the idea is, hey, I'm looking for a job, check out my resume. 3 days after you've done this batch connect, and hopefully you get some traction from that. I do believe that mentors are out there. There's a lot of scumbags, but there's also people that genuinely want to help, and there's a million different ways to do that. Sorry. Oh no, that's not coming up on you, it's coming up on me. So yeah, there's a couple of different tips there, but I'm gonna skip that. I think this is a real cool gimmicky story. Basically, this guy from Lithuania flew to San Francisco for the weekend, and he delivered something to the effect of, I have it, that's 40 different offices. He went there with his resumes on top, like inside of a box of donuts. And basically came in looking like a delivery guy and handing out donuts. So people open up the donuts and they're like, oh shit, this guy's actually looking for a job. Out of the 40 companies that he did this for, he got 10 interviews. That's outstanding. And that's really easy and gimmicky, and people's memories are short. You could do that today in Copenhagen and people would think you're a fucking genius. You should try it. I mean, these are little gimmicky things that work. I have a bunch of different news stories in here. There's different variations of viral videos that people have created because they're really into a certain organization. Try it out. No harm, no foul. So here's some of the next level shit that I'm really excited about. I don't have time to get into the really deep details of it, but I want people to be aware if they want to be challenged, this is the way to do it. So using SEM, specifically Facebook, I think is the easiest route. You can essentially target all the employees at one specific company. Now it needs to have at least 1,000 people that are registered within a job title, and actually I work for X company, to be able to target this as a specific audience. But imagine being able to show an ad that says, hey, your boy's looking for a job, and it's only targeted to people that are in this company. I guarantee you that will get flooded within the internal emails of, hey, has anybody seen this on your newsfeed? This is crazy. So there's a picture there of Josh Fetchner, who got an offer in 2 days to be a member of the growth team on Facebook because he did this. Again, memories are short. If you do this for Maersk, you will get a job offer. Not if everybody does it, but I guarantee you 99% of them is fucking lazy and won't. But it's something you could try out, and you could make it happen tomorrow if you're looking for a job that bad. Just something to think about. Budget of $5, by the way. Don't set this to be crazy. The directions are in there. There's a bunch of other guides, and it basically is step-by-step guides and tutorials, so feel free. The other one is Adwords. Yes?
Yes. What about?
Wait, 10-second question max, because I heard your last one.
LinkedIn ads?
What is it?
What's about LinkedIn ads?
What's about the ads?
LinkedIn ads.
LinkedIn ads. Yeah. So LinkedIn ads are tough, right? The idea is that you can do custom audiences, and it's a good question. You can do custom audiences for emails, but you need to have above 20 emails. And at some point it's like, all right, actually, sorry, no, it's 200 emails. So it becomes really difficult to actually get 200 emails. I actually do include that in the guides, and there's about 20 different tools. Hunter, I don't know, you guys all use them. I have half my team over here. I don't know, there's a million different tools to be able to discover emails. It's in there, so if you want to find that stuff, get the slides from me by connecting. AdWord campaigns. You can target the hiring manager. It's not very hard to find on LinkedIn who runs a department. Find their first and last name, and then create a targeted AdWord campaign using exact phrase match with a $5 budget per day, of that specific person that basically says, hey, I'm looking for a job. And here's the ad text, like, hey, first name, last name of hiring manager. And it's a link to his portfolio page, but you could also do it to your LinkedIn. Googling yourself is a lot of fun. Hiring me is fun too. That was it. And this dude got a job with Google doing that. That's crazy. It cost him, I think it was like a total of like 68 cents or something retarded like that. It's nuts. And you could do that too if you wanted to. So find 5, 10, 20 different hiring managers, create ad campaigns with, I don't know, 20 kroner spend per day for a week. And if you don't get any traction on it, then send them the link personally. Be like, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but somebody's creating ads about you. You should look into that. And then it's you, like that's amazing. Like, oh, I guess I am your date for the night, It's something to try out, and I guarantee you this will work at least 25% of the time. And if it doesn't, fuck it, you learn something. You learn how to do ads, which is actually usable. And a lot of people don't within digital marketing. So I think that's incredibly useful. A couple of little things for the process-driven approach. So I've never landed a job off of a job board. I've always done it connecting with 3 different people and doing this outreach. And you'll see within some of the templates, I say I might happen to be in the neighborhood. Is it okay I stop by 2 o'clock tomorrow? This place is 45 fucking minutes away, but I'm going if the guy says yes. And here's another little nuanced hint. I've been fired at this town 3 times. You can probably tell by the way that I talk that I don't get along with necessarily every kind of uptight Dane, which is fair. I'm not everybody's favorite flavor. But the concept is I've only been jobless for the max has been 10 days. Right? Every single time I'm down, I have 3 different job offers. And it's not because I'm brilliant, it's because I'm doing this stuff. I didn't invent the rainy day, I just have one of the best umbrellas. And you guys can do all this stuff, it's just taking the time. Don't default to the laziness of crossing your fingers and hoping for these job boards to work out for you. Job boards work the same way. Connect with 3 people from the same company. So we're talking C-level, manager, somebody that's a peer, and all the templates are there for you. Just tweak them a little bit so it feels like you, or put them in Danish so there's no discerning difference between somebody else's. You can also try, and I have a bunch of the other tools here to find people's email addresses, but we have Clearbit, Hunter, Twofer, Void, I can never fucking pronounce that name, forget it. Yeah, email matcher, any email finder, find that email, there's tons. So the idea is find the emails of the hiring managers and then write the subject line in a very simple introduction message. The subject line is, I love your company, word on the street is you're trying to hire Taylor Ryan, that's me, Whatever the case is, be different, stand out. I read those emails 3 times because I'm like, damn, this person's clever, I gotta meet with them. You'd be surprised how good it is to stand out in a country where most people don't try to stand out. I promise it works. I'm proof of it. So the mindset, I'm gonna round this out. I'm doing okay on time, or? Okay, cool. So the mindset, handling the no's, fuck the no's, right? The only reason you got a no is because they didn't get enough information to say yes. They didn't say no to you, the person. They said no to what they saw on their computer screen and not your personality. Don't get mired down on that shit. It's crazy. You only need 1 yes at the end of the day, so you're 1 step closer to that. Don't get focused on that. Gamify it. This is one of the most brilliant things that I've ever thought of when being unemployed. For every no that I get, it means I have to apply for 3 more jobs or connect with 3 more people. So I got excited every time I got a no. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's break it up. That's the deal. And by the way, you don't even hear back from most people anymore, and that's okay. It means you don't have to apply for 3 more jobs. Gamify it. It absolutely works. And again, I think I got a little overzealous here after a beer. I'm like, I've given you magic. But this stuff is magic. It really is. The idea is you have all the templates. You could use them tonight if you wanted to. So connect with me, you'll get the templates for free. So job search is a full-time gig. You'll be tempted to go back to the old way. Don't do that. Set a schedule, a couple hours every day, or if you're not working full-time, then there's an opportunity in there. Take interviews for jobs you don't want. I do this all the time because my first interview, I suck. I'm nervous, I'm not used to talking about myself. I'm like, yeah, I've always wanted to be a garbage man. Totally, we should definitely sit down for an interview. I'm all about it. Then you get back into the flow, and then they're like, hey, what happened? We had this garbage man position. It's like, I don't fucking want to be a garbage man, come on. But the idea is you're in that zone now. You're used to it. The first time you go on a date after not being on a date forever, you're nervous, you're weird. You don't want to come off weird. That's like the worst trait to have in an interview. And for those that have seen weird people come into the office, like, that guy's weird. I'm like, I know. So it's one of those things, you got to get in the mix, right? So practice makes perfect. There's only one job, as I said, you need before, and the biggest reason that people stay unemployed is because they lose sight of that, and they get down on themselves. Don't focus on it. Be humble, right? Or no? Did I skip ahead? Oh yeah. You look back on being unemployed and totally laugh. I mean, there's been days where I was super down and super pissed off. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just move back and start a pig farm or something retarded, you know? And I'm like, oh, but now I don't have to think that way. And it's one of those things, it will get easier and then harder and then easier again. This is a really important one, being humble. I've taken a lot of shit jobs, a lot of shit jobs. Most of my 20s I spent working for free or almost free. I worked for a big variety of assholes. And it also taught me that I never have to be that. I never have to be that version of the worst person I've ever met. And I think it's incredibly important to go through those types of things. It's a very Nietzschean kind of mindset. But take the job for the opportunity. Don't think that you're too good for anything just yet. I don't think it's a good way to go about it. I also don't care what school that you went to. I didn't go to a very fancy school. Grit is a much bigger indicator in terms of overall success than what is on your diploma. So I really encourage you to look in the mirror and consider, hey, I need to compete with everybody else that's out there, not just because I have this on my degree. I do think that people get often frustrated, and people have told me when I've met them a year later, they're like, you never got back to me. I wanted to work with your company as an intern. I'm like, dude, I got like 100 emails a day. I'm sorry, I missed you. Did you follow up? And they're like, well, no, but you said you would. And it's like, all right, well, I got a lot going on. A lot of these people do. If you don't hear back, they're busy. Follow up. And maybe they don't follow up with you again, and that means, hey, they're a dick. And it's not a big deal. Don't take it personally. One of my favorite situations that I've used, it's a picture of my grandpa down there in the bottom left. I really wanted to buy the shit beater pickup truck. I had worked 4 years of mowing lawns, umpiring, cutting grass, no, I just said cutting grass, raking leaves, shoveling snow, all that shit that your parents are like, 2 miles uphill, both ways, you know, that kind of thing. So we go to check out this truck, the guy won't budge on the price, and I'm like, Dad, I want it, like, what, should I take it? He's like, no, like, we're not taking this, and I threw a fit. We ended up stopping by my grandpa's house, and he said, you know, the opportunity of a lifetime, it comes around all the time. You're gonna have a million different chances, and you're gonna fuck up a million different times, and it doesn't mean life's over, that's it. You're gonna get a lot of job opportunities that don't work out because of timing, and it's not a big deal. Last but not least, I promise I'm finishing it out. Bill Burr, I don't know if anybody's going, it's like the end of April. Yeah, I'm a big fan. But he has this really great rant, which I've also included inside of the slide deck, because I think it's more important for kind of an older generation, but the concept is essentially talking to a younger person that's really upset about their lot in life because they're living on a futon. And I think it's incredibly disparaging because sometimes we're too close to our own project, right? We can't see outside of ourselves. But the concept is basically, you know, all you gotta do is just commit to this shit and then realize when you're thirsty, when you're 30, it's not the worst thing. I was thirsty. You know what's worse than sleeping on a futon? Sleeping in a king-size bed next to a woman you're really not in love with, but for some reason married, and you got a couple of kids, and you got a job that you fucking hate, and you'll be basically laying around fantasizing about sleeping on a futon. You know, there's no risk when you go after a dream. It's a fucking reward, and it's all gonna lead to something, right? And all the stuff that I've shown you today takes effort. It's something, right? But you have to take those steps. Doing AdWord campaigns to be able to target hiring managers, not that big of a deal, but can seem like an insurmountable mountain to climb because it's there and you've never done it. Or connecting with 3 people might be awkward because you've never met them and it feels weird to send out a message to a stranger. Fuck that noise. The person that's willing to do it will probably get the job. So it's one of those things, get out of your comfort zone, but also realize you don't have to get worried about these things because there's a million different opportunities, and so long as you try it, I think you got a chance. So in terms of me, there's again that growth hacking course. Connect with me for the slides. If there's any questions, is there time left for questions?
One
one question.
One question. Does anybody have one question? I know you got fucking questions, but we're good. Hold on. Anybody have a question?
No?
I have one question. Denmark is a very special country. I have talking to our manager, marketing director, and he working for a Chinese company. I was saying we can meet for coffee and talking about a very interesting country in your company and some position. And then he told me, everything is perfect for you. Your profile is perfect. Only one thing is you're not perfect Danish. So every time looking for a job for foreigners, so Danish language, you're not from Scandinavia country, is the biggest problem. This all my friends told me.
I don't speak any Danish. I know where you're going.
Yeah,
I don't speak Danish either.
So how did you manage to do this?
Yeah, so this is going to bother probably half the room. You're going to have to work twice as hard. That's what's up. That's the reality. People see Rasmus Rasmussen on a resume versus...
Yes, you're right.
I'm not going to guess your name because that you're probably not hitting a political correctness boundary, but I would imagine it's probably not Susan Susanson or whatever the female version is.
People suggest me to add, if I have Danish boyfriend or something, add my Danish
That won't make a
boyfriend
difference.
on my resume. Feel free
The guy hooking up with you isn't going to get you a job, maybe, but it's not going to work. So the idea is you have to outwork these people, and the way that you outwork them is the stuff that I've shown you. Get out in front of more people, create more potential opportunities, and there's a highly better chance of you potentially getting the interview in order to sell yourself. And that's the way it is. You're fighting a battle that you can win. It just means that, hey, you're in the big leagues, and you're going against a lot of other people that have a lot of advantages. But fuck it. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. I'm not from here. So, yeah. Cool.
Yes, thank you so much. I think the time is up.